Hi there, it's Tara Palaki here, founder of The Feminine Space. Today we're gathering, so I'm going to be sharing with you a process that I find incredibly powerful. And I'm sharing with you today because it's all about something that I notice many of us can be off without even realizing that we're off. And that can have a really big impact on our day. So what am I talking about? I'm talking about balance. And I'm talking about that sense of when you yourself feel balanced. And perhaps when you don't. I'm going to guess that you are on a fertility journey. And no matter where you are in your fertility journey, if you are watching this, it's because there's something calling you to this video. And my senses tell me that's because you've experienced some form of imbalance already around your fertility journey. So what do I mean by balance? You know, it's a term that we're hearing more and more everywhere. And certainly as I undergo my own yoga teacher training, I'm really aware when I'm in balance, because actually physically I can hold certain postures that are called balances. And when I'm feeling all over the place, maybe more scattered, quite simply that shows in my practice. I find that I fall over much easier. And so what is balance? Well, to you or I, who perhaps aren't going through yoga teacher training, but from myself who has been through a fertility journey, and yourself who may be going through one at the moment, this may, balance is when you're at a sense of ease, you're feeling in flow. There's an ease, abundance of energy that's steady, doesn't come in and super spike, but rather actually is a much more continuous, steady energy. And there's an abundance of it. It's readily available to you. With this comes a sense of clarity. And with that is generally this position of feeling empowered to make decisions, whether they be small decisions about the food that you eat right the way through to perhaps which fertility clinic to go and use. And there's a sense of confidence, not only when you're in balance and you've got this sense of flow, but with that, I observe there being this inner sense of confidence, that inner knowing. There can be that inner trust and that inner cheerleader that goes, you've got this. And with this also comes that perhaps it doesn't mean that you have all the answers, and it doesn't mean that you know exactly what it is that perhaps you need to do or what action to take, but that actually you're very much aware of what it is that, very much aware of this inner sense of trust. That maybe it's not there right now, but it will come. And generally when you're in balance, you sleep easier, you sleep more soundly. You're able to switch off from the world, you're able to relax, let your body go into a state of rest. And generally you wake up in the morning feeling rested, and with that feeling alert. Being balanced, it's very much aligned with the energy of feeling very grounded. And with that, then it's a very stable energy. You feel connected. Usually as well, there's this sense of, I don't just mean connection to other people or to your physical body, but that inner connection. Sometimes people describe this in more spiritual terms of that inner connection to self, your intuition, but also to something that may be bigger than you or I. People sometimes describe that as the universe, God, source, whatever feels comfortable for you to use, I would suggest that you use that term. And with the sense of balance and groundedness, there's also a sense of resilience and perseverance to tasks. And so looking at that, that's a really sound place, isn't it? It's a very balanced place. It feels very grounded, everything that I've spoken about. But perhaps you're feeling very disconnected from that. Perhaps something's knocked you off balance. That's the best way I can describe it. And perhaps something's unsettled you. Perhaps something's come in and metaphorically pushed you over, pushed you off balance, and you're finding it hard to get your footing. So what might some of those things be? Well, they're personal to all of us. But on your fertility journey, let's be honest, it might be that you've just had some test results back and they're not as you would have hoped. Might be that you've got some visit to a clinic coming up and you're feeling very anxious and very nervous. Maybe you've got a meeting with your doctor or your clinician and you're feeling really unsettled by this. Maybe you just had an argument with your partner and this has got all of you feeling really, knocked off centre, knocked off course. Maybe you've just finished a round of IVF and it didn't go as you'd hoped. And between the hormones that you've just been through, as well as that, perhaps the devastating news, it's come in and knocked you sideways. Now, these things that can knock us off balance can be very small, or they can be enormous. And a small thing might be, you just woke up on the wrong side of bed, as it were, woke up a bit grumpy, right the way through to, you're feeling really disconnected because you've just had an unsuccessful round of IVF, which, is way more devastating. So what I would also really encourage as we go through this session today, as we go through this alignment process, is go really gentle with yourself. Because depending on what's occurred in your life, will depend on the sense of balance that you can bring in today. Balance is still very subjective. And balance is still, if you're having a really, really rubbish day, deep in the throes of grief about something, perhaps the level of balance that you can achieve is very, very different to perhaps feeling slightly wobbly about going to a clinic for a first time. That may be a very, very different level of balance that you're able to achieve, and that is okay. This is all about where you are at right now, personally. And whilst this is a group balance and a group alignment process, it's really important to allow yourself to meet you where you are right now and know that it's okay that perhaps you feel like, okay, you've only made a slight shift, whereas some of you might have a more exaggerated shift. That's okay. It's what's true for you right now. So, what is balance? Well, balance is that state that I was saying, which is around feeling grounded. It's a very stable energy. It's a very connected energy. But those things that we've just spoken about may absolutely knock you off balance. And how would you know if you're out of balance? Well, you tend to start coming into this very busy mind, like lots of thoughts, this avalanche, this tumbling, this consumption of thoughts. And usually they're very negative. Usually they can be critical, they can be doubt, can be self-sabotaging. These thoughts can leave you feeling very powerless, feeling helpless, very out of control. And, let's be honest, there's a number of things with fertility journeys that can leave you in that place of feeling very out of control. Can leave you feeling, or have you feeling exhausted, depleted, tired, perhaps that wired and tired. So you're still awake, but you're everything about you, especially mentally, is drained, but your body's still got charge and energy. And that can make going to sleep or resting really, really difficult. That ability to switch off is challenging, if not impossible. And that can then really affect not only your energy, but you can find it really difficult to make decisions. Sometimes it's as simple as what I'm going to have for breakfast, right the way through to, again, part of the bigger things. I often come across women who are in the throes of their fertility journey and they feel really stuck about something. And that would be a sign of having come into this area feeling unbalanced, ungrounded. Perhaps you're questioning excessively what you're doing, what's going on in your life, maybe even asking those questions of why are you going through all of this? Perhaps you've got strong emotions or just any experience of irritation and frustration coming up, and you're finding that you're reaching for food to help provide a pick-me-up or some comfort, and certainly caffeine to start giving you some lift, some energy, just anything to help make it through the day. And often when you're ungrounded and off balance, you've got very scattered thoughts, you've got some very scattered feelings, and feel very disconnected and generally unstable. And so you can see that these are two different ends of the spectrum. And, it's not to say that the things that are, or the feedback that we're unbalanced is anything wrong with that. This is, again, about balance, is appreciating that at different points in our life, we experience different things. And sometimes balance is easier to come by, sometimes it's harder. But what I would say is that to help make your experience one of more ease, that's why I'm offering you this opportunity to align with balance today. Because I get fertility journeys are hard work. Physically, emotionally, mentally, energetically. They can take so much from you, which is why I believe it's so important to have other practices that help you to receive something back. And in this case, to help, where as much as possible, bring you into that sense of alignment and that sense of balance and groundedness, which is a much more easeful state. You're much more flowing. You're able to make decisions easier. And ultimately, that sense of self and self-trust, and knowing that you've got this, and that you align yourself with actions throughout your day that, again, really help to promote and encourage and align with your sense of balance and groundedness. Okay, so you ready? Let's start getting into this. As I've been talking and starting to come into this energy around balance, I want you to have a feel into what may be going on in your life right now. Start to just take a moment, tune in, and you do that just by getting quiet, taking a few deep breaths, perhaps just beginning to recall some experiences or events that may be contributing to you feeling a little bit, full in your mind, that are, if you recognize it, helping you to, unbalancing you, knocking you off center. Think about the events over the last 24 hours, 48 hours, or some of the burdens that you might be carrying right about now. Really connecting in with the things that might be creating that sense of imbalance in you. And now I invite you to develop that awareness a bit deeper, coming into your body. Do you have a sense as to where you can feel some sensations? So you might not be aware of what's behind the sensations, but I just want you to become aware of where there's senses of perhaps a buildup of energy. So if you're not noticing something, go to a part of your body where you are experiencing a sensation. Where is that? So, for example, when I just tune into where I may be experiencing a bit of off-balanceness today. I've got an email that I need to write out. And I'm not going to lie, I'm feeling a bit anxious about it. When I tune into that, my head starts to race a little bit. But ultimately, I can really feel it in my solar plexus area. And my solar plexus is, let me just show you, sort of this area that sits underneath the ribs between your heart and your belly button. So I can really feel that there's this collection of energy, this sensation there. So what can you feel? And now I want you to connect with, you know, if you had to put some words around it, perhaps is this sensation something that feels very constrictive? Maybe you've got a tight chest. You feel like you can't breathe properly. Or maybe it's all in your mind. Your mind's feeling really busy and cluttered. Or perhaps around the throat area. Some people can feel a tightening, a closing. So for me at the moment, I feel this like churning in my solar plexus area. When I start to think of that email, it's tight, it's tense, and it's very, but it's not still, there's movement to it. What about you? Again, what have you got a colour to this, this sensation, or a shape? So colours, sometimes people do see colours, and it's okay if you don't. For me, I don't have a colour with this so much as like a texture of this jagged, jarring energy. It's not smooth, but actually is yeah, very jagged for me. So again, feeding into this, I mean, does your sensation, maybe you've got several, do they feel warm or cool, active or stagnant, heavy or light? You know, just allowing yourself the opportunity to check in with where you may be harboring this in your body. And once you've began to feel this in your body, I now invite you to start stepping into this goal that I've created for all of us that we're going to be aligning with today. So whilst you might have something that's more specific to you, and if you feel confident to, or you've done a process like this before, then by all means you can make that your goal. But I'm going to work with what guidance I was given today, which is around the goal. I am now ready to feel balanced and grounded. So I invite you to say this either out loud or just in your mind's eye. I am now ready to feel balanced and grounded. Good. Oh, and as I connect in, I can really feel this energy all around my heart area, which actually makes such sense because the heart area, when we're looking at the chakras and the energy systems, that's the area where actually balance lives, which is why nature is so wonderfully balancing and restorative for us, because it is the energy of Mother Nature. When you look outside, it's green, isn't it? Mother Nature. Although we're in winter in the northern hemisphere, there's not quite so much, but you know, when we're out in nature and we see all of that lush greenness, it really helps to restore. And often we will say how much better we feel for having been outside. And that's the colour of Mother Nature, balance. Amazing. Okay, so I could really, really feel the, I could say this, energy that's all around my heart area. Okay, so beginning to tune in now, keeping our goal, our intention in mind. I am now ready to feel balanced and grounded. I want you to take a moment and ask yourself, what is the number one block to me feeling balanced and grounded? What is my number one block for me to feel balanced and grounded right now? And so I'm going to be pulling this card for all of us, because this is a group alignment. And this is the energy of the group. It should also support all of us right here, right now. Okay, so the card that's come up is actually the card of the solar plexus, self-doubt. And this is something that so many of us experience, isn't it? Instead of being in that place of trust and flow, actually we can come so easily, I know I can, where the self-doubt really, if there's one thing that's going to knock me off balance, it's when self-doubt comes in. So just sticking with this and feeling into this, I'm going to ask you some questions and just allow whatever comes up to come up. Don't judge it. I ask you not to push it away. When you try and in your head think whether that's right or wrong, just allow you to hear you. So self-doubt, where are you doubting yourself right now? What are you unsure of? Perhaps there have been some past events or situations and causing you to doubt your ability or your goals. Doubting that you could ever find balance again. And does this underlying sense of doubt prevent you from taking the actions that would enable you to achieve your goals? So, how is self-doubt playing out in your fertility journey? Perhaps it's not just in your journey to becoming a mum. Maybe it's other parts in your relationship, in your work. One of the things that I see with fertility journeys is it doesn't just stay within the confines of you having a baby or not, but the energy that can come from such a challenging journey can spread far and wide. So really allowing yourself to connect with that energy of where self-doubt may be and how it may be influencing you right now. Beautiful. Okay. So now we've identified and become more aware of what's actually going on. I want to take you through a process to help clear some of this buildup of energy. Help you clear this self-doubt, bringing you back to that personal sense of power, especially then anything connected with the solar plexus is really this personal sense of power where you can step up, to transform self-doubt to self-trust. And with that, coming back into that position of balance and groundedness, which is such a beautiful energy to then encapsulate where self-trust and self-belief may be able to reside. Okay, so follow my lead with this. We're going to be going through a process called EFT, or Emotional Freedom Technique. And this is a great process to help you shift through the stuff that's keeping you stuck. So tapping the outside of your hand. Even though I'm not sure I'm strong enough to completely achieve this goal, I deeply and completely love myself. Even though I'm scared, I may never find balance or a sense of groundedness, I deeply and completely love myself. Even though I'm experiencing so many fears right now, I deeply and completely love myself. Even though I worry about what people may think of me, I deeply and completely love myself. Even though I'm not sure if I can or deserve to lose this self-doubt, I deeply and completely love myself. Even though I'm not sure if I'm able to achieve this goal of grounded and balanced, I deeply and completely love myself. Even though I'm deeply frustrated that I haven't achieved this goal already, or sometimes find it difficult to get into this state of balance and groundedness, I deeply and completely love myself. Even though I can't help but remember all the other times and experiences that have thrown me off balance, knocking me over on my fertility journey, I deeply and completely love myself. And even though I'm afraid, trusting myself and achieving balance and groundedness, I deeply and completely love myself. Okay. So with this, I now want to invite you to take a moment and just really connect in with this idea of, if you were feeling balanced and grounded, what action could you take from that place? How would you be feeling? So where you are in that space, feeling aligned and fully in balance and flow, allows you to feel very stable and grounded, free from self-doubt, and moving either into or in that position of self-trust. How does that feel? Where can you feel that in your body, that alignment to being balanced? And what would some of the actions look like that you could take from that place? What are some of the things that you could do right now or today that would make a difference and really help to invite in that sense of balance for you? Maybe from the food that you eat to the actions that you take for going out for a walk. Perhaps there's something else coming up for you. Allow it, hear it, listen to it. Because this is you helping to share your own wisdom, your own wants and needs and desires This is your intuition. This is your internal sat nav that's now got this clarity, that's got this path to be able to communicate and be heard by you. You are a powerful, powerful woman. You know exactly what it is that you want or need, or who will be able to support you to be able, or what would be able to support you to achieve that. You've got this. I believe in you. Okay. So, final check-in. This should be leaving you now in a place where actually you are feeling more balanced and grounded, and with that sense of calm, but a steadier energy. You might be feeling a little bit tired, or allow this a little bit of time to help really integrate, certainly over the next 24, 48 hours, to really help that integration process. Go out for a walk. It's so powerful to be outside right now. And journal. Allow yourself to just free write and let these ideas and inspiration come in, because that's your own innate knowing and wisdom being able to speak to you. So allow that the opportunity, your inner you, to be able to be heard. And when something comes up, I encourage you to listen to it, but I also encourage you to take action, because that is the best way to build self-trust. And that best way to be returning back to that sense of balance, back to that sense of feeling very grounded, very stable, very connected. If you feel like you'd like to do a little bit more work, you've still got some more stuff to release, do go back, listen to this video, go back through the process again, or you can leave it there for today. But know that this is something that you can come back to time and time again. You know, life does quite constantly take us off balance. And this is a beautiful process to take yourself through, to align back with the vibration of balance, back in with feeling grounded, and all of the wonderful gifts that come from that. So now that you're in this more grounded and balanced space, I bid you farewell, sending you huge amounts of love from my heart to your heart. May you have a beautiful day, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. And if you have any comments, I'd love to hear the shifts that have occurred for you today, the awarenesses that you've had, and then the shifts that have come in as a result. Please do put them in the comments below. I love hearing the impact and the effect that this has on you. And maybe it might not be right now, but over the next 24 hours, they are coming. So do put down comments in below. Much love. Bye.